Hello, and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion, and you are all amazing. Hello to Dukasoft, hello to Zaid. I'm out of breath because I just came downstairs, like always, from refilling my water bottle. Means a lot of running around. I'm getting my audio to right through my headphones. Why now, sound alerts? And this. All right. Happy Monday to everyone. What day is it? I hope you are all doing well. I'm having a pretty busy morning so far, trying to keep up with getting a whole bunch of this work done. And then Dukasoft, the best non-bot bot ever, is helping me out with Discord. He's being amazing and super duper helpful getting Carlbot set up. So at the moment, what we did is we have the rant room. We're doing this as a trial, and I'll say this a couple times throughout the stream, but we have the rant room set up to where you won't see it unless you opt into the role to see the rant room. So there is a new channel called Roles, and if you want to see the rant room, and you'll react with the poop emoji. Very nicely done, Dikasoft. Expertly done, I should say. So even made it poop color. It's awesome. So anyway, if you do want to see the rant room, so I know that not everyone likes to see other people rant or I guess complain, but I definitely wanted to have a space in our server for people to just vent, to just rant and say, this is a situation that I really, really don't like and it's annoying, and not worry about other people going in there and saying, well, you don't have it as bad as I do, or you don't have it as bad as all these other people. And it's like, that doesn't matter. This is what I just want to complain about right now. And so I wanted a safe space for that. That said, not everyone wants to read that. So I made it an opt-in kind of thing where if you want to rant, then respond to the role, or not respond, but react to the reaction role thingy. React to the reaction role, react to the role, and then you'll be able to see the rant room. And then the other role that he put on there was one where if you want to actually get an @ notification when I go live, or whenever we use the stream notification @ oh dear. Okay, I just got an email back, sorry. I'll have the notification thingy do an @ stream notification for everyone that's in the stream notification role to get an actual @ mention. But if you don't want that, but you still do want to see the messages when we go live, then you'll still be able to see them in the stream announcements channel. You just won't get the little number that says you have a waiting notification. And you're like, I really don't like those. So opt in again, opt in only. I am looking for love in all the wrong places. This. Almost there. I'll be ready for the stream someday. But again, happy Monday. For those of you that had a weekend between our last stream and now, how did it go? How was your weekend? Did you have a wonderful time? Was it great? Was it eh? Oosh. Okay. It goes like that. Awesome. So we should be good to go. Am I ready? I don't think I'm ready. Goodness griefus. Oh. I had a fun weekend myself. It was very cool. My wife and I finished our current campaign in Ether Fields. That game is nails hard. So many decisions to make. Have to be super careful. Why are you using exclamation points for everything? So, I don't know if I should say this one, but I am wanting to move to an electric vehicle, like a lot of you have already known for a while. And so I've been looking at some, and I'm talking with a dealership currently, and there's one person that is like the typical car salesman. I don't really care what it is that you are saying to me. I'm going to try to sell you this thing that you aren't really asking for, or do it in this specific way. But I still wanted to check out this particular vehicle. So I scheduled a time to go in, and thankfully, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but thankfully, when I went there, the person that I had been communicating with was not the one that was there to help me look at the vehicle that I was interested in. And yeah, the person that I spoke with while I was there was so laid back. They were cool, they were understanding, they listened to the things that I was asking for and wanting to know. They answered my questions. And then after that visit, I'm pretty sure that that is the vehicle that I want to go with. So they're having the particular trim, I think is what they're called, sent to them so that I can look at it again and then make the final decision on whether or not to go with it. Anyway, so since then I've gotten a phone call, which I had already told from the first person, which I already told him that my preferred method of communication is email. And then they followed up via email, and then they were asking what my preferred method of communication was. And I'm like, it's email. And then just, I don't know, an hour ago, yeah, maybe an hour ago, they tried calling my phone again. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of stuff. I'm in the middle of thanking Dukasoft for being amazing and also doing my day job, and I don't want to be interruptible at any point in time by things that I'm pursuing like that. So I decided to email back, and I'm like, I don't know if you saw my previous emails where I'm like, my preferred method of communication is email. And also I had been talking with this other person and communicating with them about, you guys are, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention that. This is story time, by the way, apparently. The thing that they were calling me about was to follow up on my interest in said vehicle. And they were like, I would like to know when you would have time to come in and we can talk about getting you into that vehicle. It's like, so when I spoke with the other person while I was there, they were having the vehicle sent to your dealership, and that wasn't going to be until like the 17th or something like that. And then I told them that I am most available on Tuesdays and Thursdays and blah, 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 blah. And they worked with me on that. They're like, that sounds good. So we worked out all of those details, and I was just waiting for information back about when the vehicle is going to be there so I can go in, take a look at it, find out that it is the vehicle that I want, and hopefully walk off with it, drive off with it, something. But the person was still acting like there was stuff to be done before the vehicle gets there. And so I explained the entire situation via email, CC'd the other person that I was talking with, and I'm like, in my head, I didn't actually type this, but you two need to talk to each other, because I don't like person number one. I like person number two. Person number one, if they keep doing what they're doing, is enough to make me go somewhere else. But anyway, that's just me being a snob, I guess. I don't know. I don't like people stepping on my values. Anyway, done. That's my story. I hope you liked it. That's the start of my stream. That was just advertising the rant room. That's one of those things where if you wanted to, you could put that in the rant room and not get pestered about, oh man, you're so lame, ranting about these lame things. No, not allowed. Okay, anyway, hello TBD Gamer. Happy Monday to you. Great stream this morning. Wonderful times. Fantastic, wonderful times. Godowing it up and Godowing it out. You guys don't know TBD Gamer. He is a dev all over the place. Not all over the place. That sounds like he's sporadic and unfocused. He's very focused. And that's what I love. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, he is learning Godot, using Godot, having fun with it, enjoying his time with it. Maybe struggling with it a little bit, but it seems like you're enjoying yourself. Working on a top-down shooter at the moment in order to learn Godot to try to make his dream game, which is builder of some sort. I keep saying city builder, but it sounds pretty much, yeah, the struggle is the fun part. I agree. City builder is like the generic term, I guess, even though it could be something more like a, I don't know, roller coaster tycoon or train of some sort builder. But a builder type game nonetheless. So he wants to learn how to make that, but at the same time he's also working on an application development project on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that is used for doing project management type stuff geared towards developers. So if you want to see either Godot development, check out a stream on Monday and Tuesday, or application development, check out a stream on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, UTC-4. And if you want to see all of it, then show up at all the streams. You get it all. So yeah. Talking of that, I got your desired feature of clicking the rows and updating the panel to the right. I saw that. I was definitely watching that. Now, does it save the state? I wasn't fully paying attention, of course, because I'm working at the same time, but does it save the state? Like if you start editing a work item, click on a different work item, and then you go back to that first work item, does it have all of your current edits, or is that not a thing yet, or is that even a thing that you're planning on having in there? Definitely not being judged. Save on blur. Oh, so it actually updates. Okay. Let me actually I need to close this window. I want to show a thing real quick to exemplify the kind of behavior that I am talking about. Am I even logged in? Do you even log in, bro? Okay, so let's say I was working in the Blazor component library and I was in my work items and I created a new work item that was a bug that says, I'm just going to do it like this since this is my actual thing. Let's say that I don't know. What components do I have in the component library? Cards are not taking the default style, and then I have some information about what I mean by this. Here's how you try it out, blah 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 blah. Repro step saved. Back to work items. And so this is one thing that I don't like. This is what he is doing differently. Oh no, Dukasoft, no. Son of a piece of bacon. What? Lion. I meant to do this before, but this flippin' dude at the car dealership just needs a refund. Well, you're not getting a refund, son. Look here. Play at your own risk. It's written all over the channel. Spending one whole point on this. How dare. My goodness, I can't believe you. Okay, while I'm waiting for the LLM to load up, I'm going to get back to this description real quick. Okay. Point theft is real. I don't even know how to refund point. It's gotta be viewer rewards, channel point, manage rewards, customize point display, rewards, Wuthering Waves. Yeah, no, I'm good. If you guys want to play mobile games, feel free to. Yeah, I have no idea how to refund points. I'm a terrible streamer. That's all there is to it. I'm a bad person. Streamer tools. I was in there once before. I'm just gonna spend the rest of the stream looking for this. Is that fine? Is that good? Activity feed, quick actions. Reward request queue. There's a what's up, print the internet. I don't think that that is a reward that I can refund. Is it a reward type that I can refund? Stream health, stream preview. Automod queue. Unban requests. Predictions. Yeah, I have no idea. They might need to be tagged as refundable. Okay, I'll look that up. Let me write it down so I can remember. Make archery refundable. And when I do, I'll start charging double the points. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's not get carried away. Open workout. Load the model. And everything should be up and good morning. Come on, load. Dude, the model never takes this long to load. There it goes. Okay, archery should be up and running. Hello, automated roams. There it goes. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. Well, what? I have no clue how that even works. Oops. No clue how that even works, but whatever. We're good to go now. Archery should be up and running. I think I might need to refresh the browser source. Dark mode.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I am a bad feeling about this. Ooh, and I broke window swap in the process. Hello, window swap? It's just an advert, isn't it? I think it was. Okay, we are looking out of a window in Falmouth, Cornwall, UK. I have no idea if I said that correctly. And this was in April. I love the rain. Oh man, I miss the rain. Actually, we had rain last night. What am I saying? Had rain yesterday for a bit. It was blowing sideways too. Cornwall is the southwest of England. Got it. Back to the desktop. Okay, so everything should be set. Let's just make sure it works. Hello. Jute. 40, 22, 23, Q, 24. I am no good at this. Thank you for playing. Okay, so everything should be back up and running. So here was the thing that I was trying to show. When we're in work items here and you click on a work item, it takes you to a different page. I don't like that. So I'm almost always in queries. And I need to actually have a query that is in here. Show me all. Yeah, that works. Okay, save. Greater than 180. You can't use a greater than symbol. Okay, back to the results view. So I like this a lot, and what usually ends up happening look, IRL archery is a lot more intuitive for me. The game archery, not so much. Good luck, Dukasoft. To shoot, type Pew. Oh, you still missed. No. The thing that usually happens to me is I will be adding another bug. Oh, no, I need to have 2 bugs. That's what it is. Another issue that happened. Save and close. Okay. So what usually happens is I've finished one bug and I have stuff that's like completed in branch, I don't know, whatever the name of the branch is, some branch name. It's not formatted like that. And then I usually have, like, for the job that I was at, I had the PR number. And then I would have the link to the PR here. But if it's all in Azure DevOps, then I just use this stuff over here. But the previous place that I was at, they have a GitHub repository that all of the PRs are in, and it's not linked to the DevOps boards and stuff. So it used to be. So I put the link in there myself. But I would have the PR number and then put a link into it. And then I would want to pretty much copy exactly the same thing into another one. So then I would start doing that. Yeah, I would start doing that. Go back to here, grab some more information or something, come back here and then save. Because when you save comments here, then they get pushed down to here. And it's like, I don't want to edit the existing one. I just want to keep working on this one comment, switching across different work items, and then go back to that one and then save. So anyway, that was what the feature request was. Yeah, dirty state. I said stale. But if you're saying that, pretty much if I make an edit here, some edit, and then I click away, it commits that. Then I have a new comment that I wasn't ready to submit. If you even have comments on your work items at the moment. Like, let's say that I wanted to grab the repro steps from here because I wanted to follow the pattern kind of thing. Boop state. Right now I don't, but the plan is there. I see your point though. Cool. So I got to indicate. NanoDev. Hello, NanoDev. Here. Let me get that for you. Oh, dang. Hello, Thindle. Community Day. Is that what my stream title currently is? It was. It was. It's probably because I just now hit the thing in OBS to update my title. That's really annoying. Oh, that one was really close. Dang. I hope you have been doing awesome. Shout out to Thindle, ladies and gentlemen. Another wonderful .NET app developer in the house. I'm okay and change. Nice. Also, hi. And also, NanoDev. We'll give you a shout out here shortly. So I'm not 100% sure what all you stream, NanoDev. Is it Godot or other kind of development? I'm pretty sure it's game dev though. Game dev and Godot. Yay, I got a thing right. I've only been on a couple of your streams. Lurking in the background. Let's see if we can get a Zelda clip. Zelda, everybody!
Just give me a headache.
Nope. Just no.
The point of this line is that if I hadn't had this line, I would have gotten a warning. Let me show you. If I do this, and I'll do these.
With a shouted no.
And
Hi, non-slippery slope.
yes, I'm getting an
You
error
are definitely
instead right
allowed to
now.
have opinions.
Yeah, here we go. See what it says there? This async method lacks await operators and will run synchronously.
I don't like that I have my clips set to 30 seconds, but it's to protect me, you know? Keep me from getting DMCA warnings and stuff. Copyright stuff. But yeah, non-slippery slope. I used to use Java for everything when I was at university, and I started doing .NET stuff during my previous, my job a while ago. Just trolling. But yeah, Java is greater than .NET. Yeah, definitely. And if you are more proficient in Java and you can get stuff done with Java, more power to you. Then absolutely it would be greater than .NET for you. Hey, we have a Zelda clip. Let me get it up. Firefox.
Hey,
Zelda.
it's very easy. I can do pretty much whatever I want with her.
Mm. Big screen.
All right, let's let you down.
Bye, Zelda.
She's a fat cat.
Yeah. Ooh, what's non-slippery slope's profile image? Ah, it's actually... That's awesome. I love that. Never try Closure though. There's no way back once you start liking Closure. I don't think I've ever heard of it. It looks scripty. A little bit Python-y, a very tiny amount C-sharpy or C++y. General purpose programming language, combining the approachability and interactive development of scripting language with an efficient what? Dear, I think you just hurt some people. With an efficient and robust infrastructure for multi-threaded programming. Oh, geez. Cool. It's a compiled language, yet remains completely dynamic. Every feature supported by Clojure is supported at runtime. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. This does seem pretty cool. Whoa, Microsoft bin post. Hello, President. Not sure. Oh, did I miss anything up here? So to each their own, says TBD. Yeah. You're definitely allowed to like what you like, and as always, you're allowed to be wrong. There is nothing wrong with being wrong. Have you all seen Python? I have not seen Python. It's a Python preprocessor that adds curly braces and replaces those with indentations. So you're pretty much writing other language types that use curly braces, and then it'll transpile for you. I don't mind it. As promised though, here's a shout out for NanoDev, Godot developer, on top of many other. Did I spell your name wrong? I put NanoDev. As I mentioned, I've only been on a handful of your streams, not even a handful. It's only been like 2 of your streams, and you've been streaming for a bit now. We even got a smug pirate. Suggestion, look up Rich Hickey's greatest hits. He created Clojure and his talks are pure gold. All right, I will write that down. Again, I'm not really going to get into Clojure, I don't think. It does look cool. So, suggestion. I will talk. Let's see. We'll see. Created Clojure. And his talks are pure gold. Okay, let me just introduce myself to you for anyone that is new here. If you've been here forever, you've just been lurking and you just now decided to talk, and that's totally okay. So hopefully this isn't too redundant. My name is One Lion. I also go by 11D Lion. I also go by 11111111. I also go by Hey, Guy, Person, Developer, You, whatever you feel like calling me. Just, you know, mind your audience. I have been streaming for a little while, not super long. I think since like 2017, I want to say 2017 or 18. Really? Does that sound right? I think that's right. Hey, Guy. Absolutely. So what I have been working on previously was I used to stream my day job, which is .NET application development. I was supporting the Rocky Mountain Arsenal at the time, and they had a whole bunch of applications that were written in JSP that they wanted converted over to .NET. Or actually at the time, well, yeah, it would be .NET. They were just wanting any Microsoft product. And so I had the opportunity to work with them and to start doing these application development conversions, migrations, whatever you want to call them. And I got all of these JSP applications to, exactly, all the ones, all of the JSP applications to MVC. And then there were 3 VB6 applications that I converted over to VB.NET WinForms. And this was all using .NET Framework 4.7.2. And just as I was finishing up all of the initial app conversions, Blazor was coming out, and I was really excited about using Blazor. It made sense to use for all of our applications, especially our desktop applications. I wanted to move them to the web anyway. Yes. Thanks for the conversion to .NET. So I went from doing MVC apps, turned those into Blazor applications. And again, this was stuff that I got to do on stream while I was learning, hanging out with the wonderful viewers of the stream. and we had a lot of fun doing it. This marketing page looks good. Really? I appreciate that. That means a lot. That means a lot of a lot. And I'll tell you why here shortly. So after working with the Rocky Mountain Arsenal and doing a lot of work on their applications, a lot of things happened. And I eventually ended up leaving that position, and I got hired by Sogeti, which is a consulting firm, and specifically Sogeti US, which is a national, it's actually an international company. It's under Capgemini. And so I was working for a client through them, and it was a desktop application that uses Blazor for the UI. It was still a WPF application. It's not like Maui or anything. They want to move to Maui, I think, but things happened there as well. I enjoyed my time with it. I got some interesting experience from it, and I eventually wanted to continue supporting the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, and I'm pointing that way, but they're over there somewhere. They had asked me to continue supporting the applications, but I skipped a step. Since I moved from the Rocky Mountain Arsenal to I'll answer that in a second, President Archer. Since I moved from the Rocky Mountain Arsenal to Sogeti, since Sogeti is like this large consulting firm, I couldn't really show the work products that I was working on, not even talk about who the client is that I was working with. I just said things in vague terms like it's a hardware diagnostics application that shipped with an OEM computer. And so that's a lot of fun to work with. They needed the UI refreshed, so I got the designs from someone else, implemented those designs, but I wanted to keep streaming. So instead of stopping streaming, I continued streaming, but we had to come up with our own project. And that's what you're seeing on the screen. Actually, this is what it was originally. And it is this financial management calculator that is done in Blazor. So we tried to do it as if we were making a professional application, because again, I went from doing my professional job on stream all day to streaming 2 hours every other day, essentially. But I wanted it to feel like we were still doing an actual project, creating a product. So that's what this initial design was. I'll tell you more about this project shortly, but for now, here is a link to the GitHub repo if you want to see it. It is open source. So while at Sogeti, what I said was that the Blazor work that I was doing there for the client was just UI for a .NET WPF application. And they eventually want to support ARM systems. And so with that, they can take what they currently have, but they can also switch over to using Maui and be able to target, Android, iOS, Mac, Tizen. But the manufacturer doesn't do specifically iOS or Android or anything, but they do have their own devices that are on ARM platform. And so Maui might still be reasonable for them to use. It would be the same exact Blazor UI for it. But no, it's still a WPF application to my knowledge. So anyway, things happened in that position. And as I said, I wanted to keep supporting Navarro, specifically the Rocky Mountain Arsenal. And I was working full-time W-2, which for those of you that aren't from the US, a W-2 position is just, I'm hired by an employee. They pay benefits, they give personal time off, and just a whole bunch of other things. You're salaried, which means you get an annual salary, and then they also pay taxes for you on your salary, essentially. So you only get what you get after tax, as opposed to working for freelance or contract, which I am now contracted to work with Navarro directly, which means that they pay me my rate for the hours that I bill them for, and I pay for my own everything else, taxes, insurance, and whatever. So I'm now doing contract work for them directly to support the applications. That's what I do during the day. I am going to go back to streaming my job as soon as we finish all of the work that we were doing here. That's it about my professional career. That's who I am professionally. Now, on the stream, as I mentioned, what we have been doing is creating a stream project. It's called the Financial Management Tracker. You can find it at that GitHub repo. And we settled on this after talking briefly about it. You can see the first video where we discuss what exactly we want the project to be and how we want to structure it. Oh my gosh, can I spell? 11 D-Line. They are all here in this playlist called S01 Blazor P01 Financial Management Project. And so these are all of the streams that we've had from the beginning of this project, where we decide what the project is, come up with all of the designs and all of that stuff, the database backend, everything. So we talk through all that. Most of the streams, as a warning, most of the streams are just me talking with you guys, talking with the viewers, and very little work done. But we did, by around stream 190 something, we finished the core application and started working on redesigning the app. So, best laid plans, right? What happened, what it was that happened was I had intended to start from the very beginning doing this the full stack, absolute right way. Right way, of course. Oh, Zaid, thank you so much for the sub. That is so nice of you. So I wanted to do this the right way, and that involved doing the design work first, and then when we got to the point of doing the development work, doing test-driven development, which I failed at, but we start with writing some unit tests and implementing the methods and just having the app built up that way. And what ended up happening is I fell into my normal pattern of the way that I do development work and just scaffolded everything the way that I would scaffold it. And then getting the functionality to work and worrying about the UI later, which I always do. And I'm trying to break myself of that habit. But that gave us an opportunity though, which is the first thing that we did was we role played as a full stack developer that got hired to create this financial management application for a client. They didn't know how they wanted it to look or anything like that. They wanted us to come up with the design. And this is still a .NET, but we will go to .NET 8, .NET 7 project, but we will bring it to .NET 8. Thanks for the question, Netrunner. So they asked us, this fictional client of ours, asked us to create this financial management tracker application. Here's the requirements. They just need something to be able to track accounts, manually add in. Oh, you would love Thindle's streams then. His application that he's converting started off in web forms. And I think maybe something before that, but yeah, it's great content. Check out his stream. Oof, web forms. I loved web forms, but that's fine. That's just me. Where was I? We started designing this with our limited design knowledge, and I still have limited design knowledge, just so you know. I'm not an expert designer by any means, but I am trying my best. So anyway, we did design, we did some architecture work, how we want to set things up in the back end, what technologies we want to use, and then we finished that's what I was telling you, what the application does. Track accounts. So whatever financial accounts we want to track in the system, we would put it in here, but not in an automated way per se. We don't want it to go out to the financial institution, log into your account, pull in whatever financial data. This is actually intended to be for a user to add their own accounts that they want to track and manually put in the transactions for those accounts. Those transactions being payments, which is money going from one of the tracked accounts outside to a payee. Deposits, which is money coming from the outside into one of your accounts. And then transfers, which is money going between the accounts. So the goal is to have this system where a user can put in all of this information themselves, see what their money is doing, maybe get a monthly snapshot or a year overview of where their money might be by the end of the year if they continue their current spending habits, enter in bills and stuff like that. However, as you can see, the design, even though it's somewhat designed, is still lacking quite a bit, at least in my opinion. So after we finished the core functionality of the application, we role-played as if the client was like, thank you so much for this app. It works great. We love it as far as functionality, but we do need more design and we aren't seeing that from you. So we will not renew the contract with you. And instead, we're going to start a contract with a designer. So the client let us go. And now they are hiring us, UI designer, UI UX designer, to say, we have this existing application, but we want a facelift on it. We want it to look good. We want it to feel good. So please come up with a design for us. We'll get someone else to do the actual implementation of the design, but we want you, specific UI UX designer, to come up with those designs for us. So that's what we started doing. And now we're role-playing as this designer extraordinaire who can come up with the best designs in the world. Because if we role-play it, then we might actually become it someday. So we did things like going out to Dribbble, finding some existing designs on there as inspiration. I ended up liking this one quite a bit, so I started following that as our example. And again, keep in mind that I am by no means an actual UI designer. I'm learning Figma at the same time, which is this tool that we see here, and still trying to figure out the best way to lay things out so that they don't look so 90s, early 2000s. You know what I'm getting at. So that's what we were doing here. During that time, I was still working at Sagetti when we got to this point. During that time, I left Sagetti, started working directly for Navarro, or with Navarro, I should say. I'll work for them when they hire me W-2. And because of that, my business purchased Figma, the paid version of it. So now I have multiple pages that I can work with. So we're taking all of the design work that we have already done and moving it over into the actual way that I would structure Figma with all of the information that I know now about how Figma can be used. It's not necessarily the right way to use it, and if you do have better information about it, I am absolutely open to suggestions. I learned a lot, but I still feel like there's a lot that I need to get familiar and comfortable with before I can say that I'm any good at this. So that's where we're at, though. So that's why that long-winded thing is why Basepeter? Help me pronounce your name again. I think I've already forgotten. Is why I really appreciate your compliment on the actual design itself. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how to mock that. I don't know how to mock that. That's going to be fun for me to try to figure out. So what we've been doing, though, is we have been focused on this landing page, which Basepeter called the marketing page, which is a better name for it, I think. Because this is the whole user, you want to use this application, trust me, it'll help you keep track of your finances, even though you're manually entering them all yourself. Yeah, interesting. That's going to be fun to figure out. So what we did is we moved all the buttons over, or actually created new buttons, because I think the original buttons looked like this. And then I learned about what are these called? Color modes. Which I'm going to figure out what that means for buttons. If I'm no longer specifying the button style, is that what these are? This is button size. Pretty sure this is button style. And what was the third thing? Button state. Oh, yeah, and I don't know why I do that. This thing is a button. We don't need to have the word button in the property name. Size, style, and state are the three things that you can customize on a button component. So if we took this component here and we said we actually wanted it to be a small button, we wanted it to be secondary, then we could see it do all the things that we want it to do. What does it look like when secondary is hovered, kind of thing. Since I didn't do that when I brought the buttons over, speaking of paid Figma, can you help me with understanding one design seat? Can I? I don't know because I'm not using more than one account with this. So like, oh, why do you look different now? This looks different suddenly. Oh my goodness, what happened to the teams? This is how they're doing teams now. Interesting. Okay, so this here wasn't a drop down before. This was just sectioned, like, you know, sections. But now it's a drop down. Okay, so my guess is that a seat is a physical account that you have allocated that seat for. I said physical account, didn't I? Is an individual account. So right now I have two accounts on Figma. I have my automated realms account and I have my One Lion personal email account. And both of them have access to the exploration realm projects or team, but only automated realms has access to the Order of One Lion paid team. And if I wanted to get my other personal email account access to it, I would need to buy another seat for that account. So I think a seat could be equivalent to an actual account, but the seat can be vacant. The seat can be assigned to any account, but you can only have one account assigned to a seat at a time. Kind of like you can only have one person sitting in a chair. Technically in class. Yeah, so it might just be $12 for you solo. My account is I said dollars, 12 euros for you solo. Mine, I don't even know where to look at how much professional is. It's probably only on the Figma site. But yeah, if you're going to use it individually, then it's probably just one seat that you would need. And since the seat would be associated with the email, you can use it on multiple computers. Yeah, I don't have no docs on Figma. So not helpful. And if you're interested in finding out what NoDocs is, then you will see the link that Dukasoft put there. And it's an extension for Visual Studio that will, let's say you are presenting to a large group of people, especially those on the interwebs, and you're like, I need to check my database connection string. So I'm going to go into my user secrets. I just opened my user secrets on camera. Oh my gosh. And so what it will actually do is, if you didn't have things commented out, it'll show you the keys, like not as in API keys or anything, but the JSON property names is what I'll call them, but not the values. So it'll mask that unless you push this display config values, or display config values button, in which case it'll unmask it. And so this will work in any JSON or XML. So if you're in CS, here's a good one where we can actually push the button. Don't save. Where we can actually push the button for showing it. You can see that all of the values in my XML file, including those in attributes, are masked. Then you push this button and now suddenly you can see all of the values. And there might still be a bug, or it might need to be updated or something. But if you tell it that you want it to, I don't remember where it is. I just have way too many things in my bar, is what's going on. NoDocs. So NoDocs is supposedly showing somewhere. Oh, it's this button. Got it. Maybe. Wait, what? Anyway, there's a button so that you can toggle it back on, is what I'm trying to get at. So anyway, NoDocs, check it out. Made by our very own Thindle, who I recommended earlier. And hello, Mojo. How are you doing on this fantastic day? Oh yeah, Netrunner asked if the financial management tracker application project is .NET 7, and it still is. But we are going to, once we finish the redesign of it, we're going to upgrade it to .NET 8. Actually, probably by then .NET 9, because it'll probably be November by the time we get around to finishing the designs. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping we finish it within the next month so that we can move on, do more fun things. As I mentioned, I do want to get back to streaming my normal day job, because I think it's more interesting to see an actual work product being developed. And if you're not into that, then, I mean, I apologize, but yeah. Look, Dukabot just put out a message. Thank you, non-bot. So he's giving us a reminder, or notice, I guess, since I haven't really talked about it yet, but he's helping me set up Carlbot on our Discord. So if you're interested in seeing our Discord, then hop on over to here. If you're already a part of way too many Discords, don't worry about it. It's a pretty quiet Discord. You don't have to join. You won't be missing out on too much. But we do have some really, really cool people there that are willing to help answer questions, or just be overall awesome people. But I have a rant room in there. And so as part of trying out the roles visibility type of thing from Carlbot, Dukasoft is helping me set up roles, and we're trying out the rant room as our test bed, where the rant room is a place on our Discord where I invite you to have rants, to talk about a situation that you're just frustrated by and you just need somewhere to vent. Be mindful, of course. Get in the action, join now. Thank you, bot. Be mindful, try not to yeah, I don't know how to word that, because I want you to have the freedom to be able to rant, but do so in a responsible way where you're not like being offensive, or, you know, reasonably not being offensive to cultures, opinions, and stuff like that. But definitely let us know that there is a situation going on that you just aren't happy with, or you didn't like how it turned out. Maybe you have stronger words to use for it. But the thing that I would ask is, if you do opt in to see that channel, which right now everyone is opted out unless you click on the roll emote that opts you in to see that channel. If you do opt in to see that channel and you notice that someone is ranting in there, let it be a rant. Don't try to tell them they have it, that someone else has it worse than they do, or that their situation has a silver lining. That's not why a lot of people rant. They want to rant because they want to get this thing off their chest. Whew. The thing that I want to say, kind of, that I struggle to say is no positivity in the rant room. It's a place where you can be frustrated and be allowed to be frustrated. Not for someone to try to console you for having a gripe or tell you that your gripe is about the wrong thing. But I don't want to say that, because I think it's an overall positive experience to have a place that you can go and just rant without the fear of someone telling you you are a bad person for ranting, for even thinking that this situation that you are going through is such a bad situation. Because I've always wanted that, so I want to provide that for you, if you want that kind of place. And if not, don't opt into the role. Just ignore it. Okay, so that's my spiel about that. Moving on to the rest of the design. Today, what we hope to accomplish is to have the rest of the landing page. Oh, yes, baby rage. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that one bit. That is hilarious, though. Do I need to scale you vertically? Is that what the deal is? I really don't know what it is that I want to do with this. Does anyone know what it is that I'm trying to do with this? Because that's what I thought would happen. So, good gravy. Wait, actually, that is what I want to happen. That is exactly what I wanted to happen. Whoops. Okay. So then if I told this thing to top, bottom, and then center, left, and right, actually not even center, left, and right. You do need to stretch, don't you? I don't know. We'll find out. If I change the size of this thing, then yeah, that keeps the hero section content centered on that page. But since I have the track transaction locked in place by top, do I really need it to be by bottom? No, that's not right. Is that? I mean, it could be. It could be if I told this thing that I don't want it to constrain vertically. I want you to stay top only. Yes, that will do. That will do just fine. That works. That did what I wanted it to do on accident. I'm fine with that. Okay, so I want to finish out the remaining sections for our landing page and hopefully get a background that works nicely for the rest of the content. So again, if we took the actual design, oops, and we stretched it height-wise. We have an issue with the backgrounds still. Oh, hiccups. Oh, man. So that we can see the entire page contents. Then this section here should have a background on it, and then the next section, and then the footer. So I will also have this one here so that we can preview it. As we are making changes here. Yeah, good, good. Okay, so this is the track transactions content, which we have here. And we are picking images for these sections. That's what we were doing last. And I don't want placeholder images anymore. I want the actual image that we would use on the application, or that we would suggest to the developer to use in the application. Because the developer in the end has the final say in what content goes in the page. Well, I guess the client does, but you know what I mean. So, man, I really wanted to come up with my own graphics for this. We have this piggy bank. I'm liking it-ish. Developer knows better, ignores customer. Absolutely. So as you can see, I kind of have stuff just strewn about in the original Figma boards. And so I'd rather be a lot more organized right now. I don't really like any of these. Because, like... Oops. Yeah, this is right. The content we're looking for is some indicator of saving money or money coming into your accounts. This one would be money going out of your account, but in a positive way. Like you're excited about spending money. Great. I just don't want it to be like we're discouraging you from feeling good about purchasing things. Is that even possible, to ignore the customer asking for a friend? Oh, it is entirely possible. And then you'll get asked, or you will get instructed to leave. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I like making these. It was fun making them, but they don't translate very well. They don't convey the thing that I want them to convey. Like, this is supposed to be a stack of coins. And this is supposed to be an overall growth direction. You really don't want that. I'll just do it this way instead. I guess I'm gonna need to go to our resources to find some inspiration for what content we should actually place there. Oh yeah, I still need to watch this, TBD. I have it open so that I can watch it, but I've been so busy today. I will watch it. Promise. That way I can learn more about it. I heard you talking a little bit about it on your stream this morning. Okay. I kept those open, by the way, Dukasoft, in case you did decide to make them not public anymore. So I just left them open for myself so that I could see the Discord bot part of it. What am I looking for? The pessimistic, optimistic, realistic, realist meme with glass half empty guys, I think, because it's piss. Yes. What am I looking for? I'm looking for dribble, I think. Are we still going to go to dribble for this? Or should we go to what's that popular royalty-free image search app? Oh, I can't think of things. Let's do professional images. Pexel. I like Pexels. Is that one specifically placeholder, or does it have actual Unsplash is another one? You know all of them. Thank you. Thank you, Mojo. Yes, good. Okay. So what we need is something that represents financial transactions. See, stuff like this that I wouldn't be able to come up with anything else for. So the other hard thing, though, is do I really want colored images? I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying it out. Mostly a backend dev, but I'm passionate about design even though I'm bad at it. I'm bad at it too. Welcome to the party. I'm trying really hard though to not be bad at it. So I like that. I don't like that this has another app in place. I don't like the fanning out of money. I do kind of like this as the idea of transaction. It would be nice to see something with money going in. I think they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. At least not in public. So we got the paying a third party. How about putting money into one of our accounts, aka a deposit? Deposit would be nice. She is really in love with this credit card. The way she makes eyes at it. I'm not really seeing anything that depicts transfers or deposits. Aha! A deposit! Except it's blue. Maybe we can change the color of the pig. If we're allowed to, I guess. Are we allowed to modify the image? How do I get information on that? Because we're not like actually publishing this for anyone. We aren't making this an actual product. So I'm not super concerned with, you know, using which images we use and stuff. But I would still like to do it as if we really do care about that. Because that's what you would do if you had an actual customer. Otherwise, you might get into some legal situations. Okay. I'm liking piggy banks, obviously. I don't know why I'm drawn to them. It says savings. Piggy banks say savings. Right? Yeah, you are amongst friends, Mojo, says TBD. Except that this is another site which you probably have to pay to use their images. But yeah, Photostock is the one that I was thinking of. How about something representing a transfer? No, who would do this? Why would you do this? The project I posted in shared Discord channel is using semantic HTML, so that's a win. Let's take a look at it. Where is it? It's way over here. Shared. Oh, the one from the weekend. It was in... It wasn't shared any, right? No, it's the one that I opened up the... I joined the thread for it because I was intending on commenting on it. Let's see if I actually comment on it though. But yeah, so if we take a look at not doc source app, I would assume, and yay TypeScript. How do I components? Let's look at the header module. So we have header in the header. Let me guess, we have footer in the footer. Oh, there's a screenshot on the main page. Okay, I will. And we have nav for the nav. That is absolutely a great starting point. This will take care of a lot of your accessibility screen reader stuff specifically if you use semantic HTML. So that hopefully is something that I got a little bit more right with the project that I left with the previous client. Hopefully there is a lot of usage of the right elements in the right places, or at least the correct ARIA tags. Yeah, let's get that screenshot. And TBD is saying same. I was going to say, I very much want to understand more about Aspire. I'm sure I started writing that. Oh, to the to his thread that he started. And that's what it was about, wasn't it? Aspire. Yeah, I saw you started typing and stared in anticipation. Yeah, that's definitely how it is for me, where I will start typing. I don't know, I don't know if Dukasoft was watching our private messages back and forth, but I started typing something at I think 7, and I didn't finish typing it until 8:30. Trying to do too much all at the same time. Okay, let's see what these images look like real quick. They're going to be massive, so maybe I should have downloaded the lower resolution ones. Maybe, perhaps. I'm gonna go over here. Jeez. All right, so you are going to be image. Yeah, and then we'll name you. Right, what did I learn about that? What did I learn? I learned of a different way to do the icons. Let's go take a look real quick. Because I remade the icons in, not here apparently. Arme app designs. So this is another reason that I was also redoing the UI design for our stream project, is because I was actually doing design work for my work project and I wanted to get better at Figma and doing actual design. Okay, here is what I am now doing for icons. I have one component per icon, and then that icon can be filled or not filled. And I have the library that it belongs in. Some icons don't even have a filled or not filled version. For example, this transaction arrow, or transfer, or whatever you want to call this thing. And then when you are actually using the icon, I have this placeholder icon base where I have told it to use so hard to see, an instance swap, where you choose which instance you want to use in place of this placeholder, and then you can see the preview of the icon itself while you're picking through it, as opposed to the way that I was doing it before, which is still how I'm doing it here, which is I have one icon component and then I have the icon name that you would change between. So you wouldn't really know what it looks like until you chose the icon, or if you came to the main component and looked at it here. So what I'm going to do then is we're going to have our image placeholder. So graphics. I am going to give it the same kind of effect as the, like if you had something selected. And I can't remember what purple you are. Dagnabbit. This one. Inside. Thicker. Dashed. And actually, do I want it to be inside? I think I do. Was I putting that on the right thing? I don't think I was putting that on the right thing. Wait, yes I was. Why don't I see it? Hello? Am I blind? Mojo is saying, oh, wait, I missed a bunch. Dukesoft said, like, I don't have anything better to do. You don't. You're here because you're amazing and you're super helpful, and that's what you love doing. So you have nothing better to do than to do what you love doing. I know this. Mojo said, this project has an API, front end, and database, all being ran from startup. All a dev has to do is set a password and hit F5 and boom, you have a seeded database. I don't know if I've done the seeding yet, actually, but it's coming. The tables are there at the very least. So are you saying that it also will run the migrations instead of what our current .NET templates give us, which is the screen that says you need to run migrations, press this button? And the answer is yes. No CLI needed. Very cool. So what am I doing incorrectly? And okay, I'm putting the stroke outside because putting it inside is obviously getting covered up by the contents. However, if I told this thing to clip contents, then we would see it. Don't mind me. Some rounded corners on there. Make the dashes thicker, longer, wider, harder, stronger, better. Why? More. Okay. Yeah, they need to be bigger. Better. Okay, so this is going to be our placeholder image. So we're going to call you placeholder image. Is that what I called the icons up here? Spring seating, just press F5. That would be nice. Icon base is what I called you. Really? I called you icon base? I'm going to call you placeholder image, create a component. Then we need to turn these into components. This one is going to be called right. And then we're going to frame these like so. And they're going to be in the frame. Very nice. We're going to call these images. The capital M. Put this inside of here. Actually, I'm going to put you, well, we'll do that after we do this. Excuse me. Arigato. Change the distance between. Okay, so we have a placeholder image, and then each of these is going to become a component. Credit card. Transaction. Piggy bank, blue piggy bank. Pink piggy bank. The devs on my team love the project setup. I'm a DX, first DevOps person. DX first from a really small team of one person? What's DX first? Developer experience. Ah. So many acronyms to keep track of. Thank you for asking, Dukasoft, because I wanted to know too. As everyone's like, you dope. It's developer experience. You know what UX is, right? Why can't you think of what DX is? Because I don't think in those terms. See these imagined conversations going on? Okay, anyway, these need to be Control-Alt-K'd. And Control-Alt-K, for those of you that already know, is turn it into a component. And so this placeholder, we want it to have an exposed property for instance swap. We're going to have our default graphics images placeholder as the default for it, but we're going to want the images that are located in graphics images, all of these, less this. Why can't I create the property? Because it didn't pick the instance. It's not letting me. Oh, components can't contain instances of themselves. Interesting. So what does that mean for me? Aha. Aha, I remember. I remember. Don't mind me. Detach instance, and we're going to call this our image. Just image. Because why not name things just image? Create the component. You can go in here now. It looks terrible side by side like this. Okay, so what's happening is this placeholder image. Oh, man. This image component here is going to let me pick from what instances I want it to be. And the default one is the actual placeholder image. Not the component itself, but the placeholder image component. And then, whoops, the things that I want to pick from are all of these, except for placeholder. There we go. Okay, so when I use this component, then we will see here the instance that I want is one of these. Why doesn't it automatically go into that? Yeah, I really don't like that there's going to be two. What happens if I default this thing to Blue Piggy Bank? Let's say. Nothing. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. It shows up the way that I want it to. Okay, we're good to go. Everything's fine. We're fine here. It's fine. It's not fine. Your xylophone. Is that what UX stands for? At least we didn't ask about you. Mojo says, so my personal project is a one-person team, but my work project is structurally similar for a team of 3. Same. So same. And mine hopefully is scalable the way that I'm doing it. So like you saw, dev.azure.com/armors. By the way, if you are interested in learning about the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, Risk Management Agency, Rocky Mountain National Wildlife Refuge is what it's called now. There is some interesting stuff that you can learn about it, but this is the site that I am, not the website, the physical location in the world that I am supporting their applications. They're doing things like monitoring the soil and water and air quality. Well, they used to monitor air quality. That's Denver right back there that you can see in this image, but I am helping them with the applications that they use to track the amount of chemicals in the soil and water, as well as generating reports and all that fun stuff. myself about that. What am I trying to do? We got images now, so I'm going to take this placeholder here. We're going to head on over to this, and we're going to replace this image here on the right with image. Change it out before we resize it with piggy bank. That is massive. Wait, why did it take it out of the... Oh, because I didn't make you... auto layout. Aggie. Oops. There we go. Arigato. All right, so then payments. Let's do this credit card one. Have I missed a lot of chat, by the way? I think I did. TBD Gamer says, which people overlook so often when wondering why software isn't working correctly, and it's hard to change things in prod. Yes. Oh man, it's hard to... One of my biggest gripes with my own stuff that I'm currently working on. So for example, the RMA Water application that I'm currently upgrading to .NET 8. Or actually, I've finished upgrading it to .NET 8 and it's working great. It's just I'm not confident in it yet before... Like, I want to push it to test and have the users use it in tests, but of course asking users to do something in tests that is not going to be actual data is really hard to do. But like, for example, they have an issue with a chart that they want help with. They want to figure out why the chart is displaying the y-axis as interval of 1 when it should be like an interval of 5, or it should change. And actually, let me just show it because this is easier to demonstrate than it is to talk about. But while I'm waiting for that to load, at least we didn't ask about UA. You're oh. It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine. You're fine, UF. Two-headed buffaloes. Yes, exactly. Two-headed buffaloes. Well, actually deer, mostly. Dying soil, dying crops. But it's all cleaned up now, so none of that anymore. Now we have healthy animals and wildlife and grass and water. Oh, that's cool. If I did my senior year of engineering, my project would have been somewhat related to where you work. Awesome. Awesome. TBD Gamer, or first before that, Mojo says the project was going to be scanning and collecting plant health in a specific area. Drone collecting infrared. You know, I wonder if they'd be interested in that. This is the current app that they use for doing the plant matter sampling. This is the one that I kept giving to our junior developers, or the other developer that was on the team with me. I say developers, but there was only ever one at a time, for them to convert over to Blazor. Unfortunately, that never happened. And yeah. So anyway, so this is what the application looks like. They have these things called Trimble handheld scanner things, and they use those to enter data as they're out in the field. They take pictures of things with it, and then that gets imported back into here. And then we get information like this that gives us the various plant species that they have observed, as well as I don't remember what incidentals were. Like, these are the species that they expect to find, and these are the species that they weren't expecting to find, but they saw them this amount of times. Something like that. And then litter is like how much dead plant foliage and stuff is out there. Bare soil is how much empty space is out there. So then for each of these sample areas, what year is this app from? 2008, I believe. And yes, this is one of the apps that I'm trying to update. Don't hold back. You're allowed. Anyway, hi Peter. App sees mushroom of any kind. Looks like a mushroom. Just wait. Look, it's a mushroom. Just don't. Okay. That was really hard to read. It seems clear. Like, you would know to click on a row in order to get information to show up over here. Because that is very unclear to me. And this is pretty much a direct, this is what the application looked like when it was a JSP application. Since I think we counted last time and it was like around 10 applications that I needed to convert from either JSP or VB6 to either MVC or VB.NET WinForms. And a short amount of time to do it, I just straight ported left to right. I said, here's what it looks like in JSP. Here's the copy and pasted HTML, styling, all that stuff. I wrote the controllers to look similar to the Java backend stuff. And anyway, so yes, it is really ugly. You're allowed to judge. You're allowed to say, this is not appealing. This would be one of the things that I would redesign on stream, by the way, that we would do together, is to facelift this app. Instead of having the handheld, give them a mobile app. Make this thing a progressive web app that even when they are offline, they can still take pictures of, because like they do take pictures on occasion. Take pictures of the observations that they make their notes in the app. When they get back online, it uploads to where it's supposed to get uploaded to, instead of export your species and transect list. Comic Sans is successful. Export the species and everything else to this external Trimble device, walk out into the field, use it, come back in, re-import it as a CSV, where if you open the CSV on a computer to make edits to it, it's going to break because it gets rid of the quotes that separate, that are the delimiters that say this is an entire cell. So it's very touchy at the moment, and it just needs to be improved. Anyway, so that's that. This is the application that I'm currently focused on. This still does look very similar to what the original app looked like. But it is Blazor now, and it works a lot more smoothly and cleanly. This map is an ArcGIS map using a server that we are running ourselves. And so the issue that they are having is this reverse gradients chart for the date range of something like April 1st, 2022 through, maybe it was 2023, through March 31st, 2024 for Lime Basin. Has a chart that generates, oh, and he says, drink water. And so you can see that the y-axis, like, it's readable, but that's not what it's supposed to look like. It's not supposed to have a 1 point interval for a spread this wide. So what they have to do in order to get this chart to look the way they want is go into chart options and hit apply, and it redoes the y-axis and puts it in a 5 point interval to make it more readable. Why it doesn't do that when it first generates the chart, I'm not 100% sure. But in order to research it, this is the fun part. the chart API, the thing that generates these charts, still uses Microsoft.datavisualization.ux or something like that, .ui. And so that's no longer supported in .NET Core. And so this is still a .NET Framework 4.8 project. Yeah, .NET Framework 4.8 project, so that I can use that. And it's an API controller or API backend that runs alongside the actual application itself. So now I have the Blazor WebAssembly's server-side code running as an API and this chart API running as an API, which is not terrible. I mean, it's really, really small. But just to do charting, we have this entire separate API. So it's 2 API calls to get all the stuff needed to display. And hello, Avidus. Hello, Rob Langdev. Ooh, I will pay attention to chat shortly. Promise. So in order to find out how charts are created, you'd think you'd go to this charts controller, and then you find reverse gradients because that's the one that has a thing. And then it says build reverse gradients charts. And you're like, which one of these is it? It's line basins. Okay, that has its own thing. You go in here and you're like, okay, a line basin chart is you get a base chart that has an interval set to 1 for the X and Y. And you're reading through all this stuff and it's like, this is convoluted for creating a chart. Setting up the main area, trying to figure out how it does the calculation of the Y axis, and this big old if statement here. But then where even does the data come from? You have to trace that back somewhere. So anyway, point is, this is not DX. This was not built with DX in mind. The DX was be frustrated as you go through the code and try to pick your way through it. And no matter how many times you look at it and work on it, you're going to forget where anything is. And they're going to be like, well, the title on this chart is wrong. And you're like, okay, where does the title get set? Not in the chart builder. The title gets set in the reports builder. Of course it does. Why wouldn't it? Anyway. What do you call a beehive without bees? An e-hive. Okay, anyway, back up in chat. Let's catch up. 1997 called. They want their website back. Truth. Absolute truth. That, like, even if I was going to design it myself, actually, here is something I designed myself early on when I was working with these applications. I'm like, I'm going to be cool and update the UI for this particular application because it sucks. It currently sucks. And what did I do? I made it suck more. I was like, let's go straight back to the 90s. And this was like semi-intentional, but also semi me trying to actually make it a design. Then when I saw that it started looking 90s-ish, I just went with it. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do the whole text shadow thing on everything. Text shadow everywhere. This was the original background, by the way. Not my choice. This box shadow right here with the very thick shadow outline. Oh, man. Okay. There's more up here. So this was senior project. I worked with a guy. He started at a former employee around 2011. His college project was Can I Eat It? Which was a mobile app that he could point at a plant and it would tell him if he could eat it. That's pretty cool. And it got pretty close. And then Peter said to that, app sees a mushroom of any kind. Look, it's a mushroom. Just don't, okay? Now I get it. Okay, so the emphasis was more like, look, it's a mushroom. Just don't, okay? Got it this time. Last month I saw an ad for a project that used a drone for this. I was kind of salty it wasn't my senior project. You know what? I could be salty about, but instead I'm really, really, really excited about. See this folder here called ArcGIS? Can you imagine what could be inside of a folder in a Blazor project called ArcGIS? Could it possibly be a wrapper, a Blazor wrapper on the ArcGIS JavaScript API? That is exactly what this is. Started in 2019, maybe? And a lot of work went into this, and I got it done. And now there is an official Blazor wrapper for ArcGIS out in the world. And I'm so happy. I want to use it. I want to replace this one with it. But I need to figure out how it works first. So anyway, just happy about it. That's all. I want to be salty, but I'm just excited. Got pretty close famous last words. Can I eat it? 90% chance. It won't hurt you. What year is this at from? I was holding back that comment. We are all judging. It did look old. It looks old, but it seems pretty clear. 1997 called. They want their website back. That reflection on the header image is breaking my head alone. The reflection on the header on the Vegemon site. You know what though? I'm pretty sure that this is actually an image and not done using CSS. Oh, yeah. And actually, it is done using CSS, but only to have the background image be the URL of the image. Spamtastic. Rip. Nope. Helen Cooper called. He wants his VB app back. Man, I loved working in VB though. I really, really, really enjoyed VB. I did. I was extremely scared of using C#, which is why I stayed with VB until about 2014, 2013 maybe. And then I did my first MVC application using C# for the code behind, and I fell in love with it instantly. I was like, why was I ever using anything else? But I really did enjoy writing in VB. Peter says, honestly, I've made worse looking stuff from scratch with no excuse. I've done it and I'll do it again, but maybe no reflection. Why not? Honestly, the thing that will improve this app the most is moving away from Times New Roman. Are you Times? Are you that good? Are you that good, Peter? Drum roll, please. Font family, Times New Roman. He is that good. A face of talk about an understatement. Comic Sans is accessible. That'll work. Redeems start. Oh, I did like Grant's. I don't know if you guys remember Grant from a million years ago. But Grant's approach, his initial design was getting somewhere. Redesign? Something. Nope, that's not it. I don't have it published to test anymore, probably because I was making changes. But I liked his design. It was good-ish. Honestly, the thing that improved the app most, blah, blah, blah. Redeem, start the project already. Oh, you want me to get to the work product stuff already? I really want the financial management tracker to be done though, because I want to use it myself. It's really selfish of me, but that's why I'm doing the financial management project, so that I have something to replace my Access database. Hello, how is my favorite Keep Us Safe mod today? Dukasoft is the best non-bot bot, isn't he? It's awesome. Drink water. No, you. Okay, I'll be respectful and helpful then. Doing pretty good. Abaddis is here. Here's a shout out for Roblang Dev, by the way. Recently started streaming. Can I say that? Am I wrong to say that you recently started streaming? Or have you been streaming for a long time and I just only learned about you recently streaming? Anyway, Roblang Dev, fantastic streamer. Check him out when you get the chance. I need to be on more of your streams in order to be able to say what you do on your stream, but you're more than welcome to tell us. I have been lurking on your stream whenever I see you live, though. Definitely. Where was I? President Usher said, I'm all about the 90s web pages. Yeah. It's what I grew up with, so it's probably why I think that's what websites should look like, and not, you know, something a little bit more white spacey and designed. Like, I think I'm getting somewhere. I think that I am approaching some kind of design with this. We're currently working on choosing images for these spots here. Right, and that's what I went back to the graphics for, was to find... Why do I need to go back here, though? I don't need to go back there. We just stay on this page. Take this image here. Replace this one. Take this image here. Replace this one. Hello? Interesting. Why can't I... Oh, because it's up here. Take this image here. I was trying to modify the what's it called? I was trying to modify the instance of it and not the component. And finally, the transfers, just because I don't have any other images, we're going to use... I can't. We're going to use the placeholder image. Oh man, I don't want any placeholders. We need to find an image for this one in particular. But the whole point of that is to get some actual images going in here. And looking at it with the images, it looks pretty terrible. I'll probably end up making the images bigger so that they take up more space. And yeah, we're going to have to think about that a little bit more closely on Wednesday, because we are at the end of my stream. Oh no. Oh no. So I'm going to catch up in chat though on the ending screen. Let's see. Roblang Dev said, I'm having serious nostalgia vibes. And President Usher says, you need a counter for page hits. Ruth. We can definitely add that. What is the leading cause of dry skin? Towels. Thank you, Dukabot, for the dad joke. ArcGIS. Yes, ArcGIS is a system that's kind of like Bing Maps, Google Maps. I'm sure there's another one that's pretty popular that I can't think of, but it's a system, not a system, it's a service that provides map images for you so that you can use it within your app. And we have an ArcGIS server that we manage in the cloud, and we have GIS people. So GIS is Geospatial Information Systems, And so they are the ones that will manage the application or the map itself, put the features on the map. So a feature could be something like a road or a river, or in our case, most of them are wells. And so they give it coordinates for where every single one of the wells are, what image it should be using for the well itself, and how it should show up on the map. And that's what all of those dots were. Java? Question mark. So free ArcGIS, hopefully. Nice. I don't know if it's free or not. I know that you can get a free ArcGIS account and use it as is, but we definitely have a license for our ArcGIS stuff. Nobody's perfect. Oh, I made an iOS binding wrapper for Map Libra. I don't know Map Libra. Kind of the same thing though. But yeah, it's pretty much a wrapper on the library so that you can use it as native stuffs. Irish John Games. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for however long you've been lurking for. And Zulius is here too. Nobody's perfect. I was forced into using C# for about 3 months of school. I love it now. Yes. VB.net suffered a lot of snobbery. Was I one of the snobs? I was probably one of the snobs. It was just, I don't know. I liked the syntax of it. It made sense to me. It really did, mostly because of VB6. Great shame. I started off doing actual applications in VB6, but the actual application was, I was 17, I think. And it was supposed to be a chatbot. Mind you, this was back in 1998 or 99. And yeah, it was a chatbot before chatbots were a thing, even though chatbots were a thing. So it was hard. That's when I got disheartened and was like, I'm not going to be able to be a programmer, even though that's the thing that I want. Anyway, time to dabble more with my test Blazor app. Tell us more about your test Blazor apps, early dev. Oh, gosh. I wish we had more time to talk about it today. You're not wrong. I've only recently started. It's okay. I just recently followed. What? Thank you. I'm working on working a graphics pass of my co-op pipe puzzler clumper. Whoa. I'm not going to be able to remember that. I just need to show up to your stream more often and pay attention. That's all. And then I'll be able to say what it is that you do on your stream. But at least you can tell us. At least you're okay with telling us. iframes, the future of websites. Do you mean frame set? No, iframes. Oh man. iframes for everything. TBD camera. Only not quite how we imagined in the GeoCities days. You need a fire GIF. Do I? Or someone else? Like, I need a fire GIF for transfers. So the thing about this application, by the way, is that I truly am trying to consider, can we make this thing in a professional way as if we're doing it for a client? So we can definitely joke about putting gag stuff in there, but I really, really, really want to treat it as if it is a real application for a real client, even though we don't have a real client for this or anything, but it would be nice. Where was I? Int eresting equals 0. I don't know that one. All this newfangled stuff. Websites were perfectly fine. I don't know what was wrong with doing interactive stuff in Flash. Oh, TBD. And MIDI's playing in the background. My did I have GeoCities? Was that the Yahoo one? Yahoo is GeoCities, right? Anyway, I had whichever one was the Yahoo one. Ow, my back. remember to have a look at the, oh yeah, remember to have a look at the new channel roles on Discord. So if you are interested in continuing to see the rant room, again, this is going to be our trial for now, but the rant room is currently opt-in. So if you want to see the rant room, go into the roles channel and click on the icon or do a reaction, whatever it's called, for the rant room image, which is a poop emoji, and you'll be able to post to and see the rant room. Irish John came in and said, "Take it easy, buddy." He got a shout out. Check him out today in about 30 minutes, actually. Maybe by the time I catch up in chat, he'll be streaming. Zulius is here, like I said before. I think the controversial part was the interactive stuff lots of Flash apps did to your computer without your knowledge. Also, hi everybody. I think it was being funny. As opposed to all the cookies and JavaScript stuff we accept on our machines these days. Surly Dove says, I'm trying to get it to display a grid of cells that I can click on to set to one of 2 states. Oh, I would love to be there on your channel. Or, I mean, you stream, right? I'm pretty sure you stream. I say everyone streams. I just know that I've seen you around. You've got to stream. If not, we're doing a shout out for you anyway and following you. Are you saying we're not taking it seriously? I am saying that, and I hope you aren't. I hope you're having fun. Like, if taking things seriously is fun for you, then yes, I hope you take it seriously. But if you don't want to take it seriously, don't take it seriously. Don't let me rob you of your fun. You chose to be here. You make of it what you want. How dare you bring that back for me? Yeah. It's going to be stuck in your head forever now. Oh. Go into the rules channel and poop. Okay, so that's it for my time today. I will be back again on Wednesday. And what we will do on Wednesday is get the actual image for transfers, fill in the next section, fill in the footer, and we'll be done with the landing page. Once we're done with the landing page, then we'll move on to the data entry page. And then we'll have a redesigned app, and then it'll all be done on Wednesday. Every single bit of it. You'll see. You watch. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I'm gonna raid out to Muniz. I have no idea what he's doing. It kind of looks like he's playing a game, but I think a lot of it he's calling research for his Metroidvania. But he's playing. I don't know. I don't want to raid someone that's playing a game. I want to raid someone that's developing. So if you have any suggestions, I'll stop the raid, but I'll target Code Red since I haven't raided him in forever. I'm just afraid because now he's getting super duper popular and stuff, and I don't like raiding popular people because I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to ride their coattails or anything. But Code Red is a fantastic game developer. He's working on a roguelike called Rogueblight, and it looks hard as nails, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun anyway. Yeah. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll post the recording of I'll post the VOD to YouTube at some point in the future between now and I'll let you decide when. That's going to be it for me for today. Back again on Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. Seto Simple, yeah. And the thing is, I recently rated Simple. I'm not actually following, or not following. I don't have Seto up on a screen at the moment, but I'm gonna replace Muniz with him because I don't want to see someone playing a game. I want to see them developing a game. InstaFluff is also streaming. I'm on his channel watching. Okay, but yeah, we're heading over to Code Red. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao.